All right, you know what it is. We're back at crunch time with the authentic take, and I wanted to dive into some stuff. It'll be all around, but I wanted to dive into some stuff about. Apparently, there's articles being posted that the Warriors' upcoming season is a gap season. So, let's dive into that. So, are the Golden State Warriors essentially admitting that this is a gap year? And what I got to say is, I think so. I mean, I feel like they won't really tell you their exact plans, which is obvious, but at least give a little key onto what they're doing. And I feel like they're letting you know that it's a gap year. And a lot of people, even myself, really kind of block out the gap year we had before we won the title against the Celtics in 2022, because in 2021 Clay had Steph Curry had a broken hand that he was out for months, came back, but still like we were just like decimated, and Clay was out with his double injury. And for the majority of the season, the Warriors' base was D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Poole, and Draymond Green. And it was just kind of like a scary thing to watch. But even though that probably gave a little more, way more court time for Jordan Poole, and then he came back and he was a big factor with that Celtics championship. So I don't want to like hate too much on that, but it was definitely a weird season. But that's kind of what we're facing this year. I mean, Steph Curry, I feel like they might load manage him because it was scary last season. It was like the guy we rely on just kind of wasn't there, and it wasn't his fault. It's just all his preparation, all the mileage on his knees. It just kind of caught up to him. So, injuries happen. And then, um, you know, uh, Draymond, he's just, spatting off at the mouth. It's just the regular stuff, but he's just not what he used to be. And what he used to be was actually a stretch that people thought he sucked, but then it was like, dude, this guy's really actually averaging a triple double every night. So, um, I don't know how much of a factor he could be because I think, I mean, averages off the top of my head, it's got to be like 8 and 8. So he's something, but he's not a crazy amount. He's not $27 million worth, at least at the age he's at now. So and then the other thing is what this gap season. I guess I'm calling it a gap season now, but what this gap season is really going to rely on is how we play Yaxel. Yaxel Lendenborg, number 11 pick, first round, out of the University of Michigan. And this is, as much as it's about Yaxel, I think it's about Steve Kerr. Are you going to start this rookie? And I think in the second year of your contract, by you starting him now, it's gonna pay out dividends because I really like this kid. I don't know if I've liked a rookie like this in a while. Like I wasn't all over Kaminga. It was probably because I thought he had like a weird name, just nothing that like clicked or whatever. But that has nothing to do with basketball. But I'm just saying, I it was almost like in the era that we were in, like how could you really focus on a rookie? That's where I feel bad for Kaminga, is like he's sitting on the bench while we're winning that championship, knowing that he wants to be a part of this, but he really hasn't had time in there. So yeah, I think that we got to go the other route with Yaxel Lendenborg and just start him. I think he's going to be a massive player. I think at least in this rookie season, he could at least be a 15 and 8 guy, which will help us It might not be exactly the bulk of what we need, but I think it's going in the right direction. I think, if you could build this guy into a helper for Steph, then maybe Steph plays another year, and then maybe you guys could be in real contention for those last 2 years if he adds another year. But anyway, so I think that's really what it rides on, and it's just they want to call it a Warriors like gap year, but I think it's really a Warriors. We don't know what to expect here. We don't know if Steph Curry's knee is gonna let up. We don't know if Draymond is gonna be substantial, and we're not certain yet on if Yaxel will be what we think he's gonna be. So a lot of uncertainty, but I mean, I guess that's the NBA. But right now, it's hard to be a Warriors fan. Are we trying to maximize Steph, or are we in the process of starting the rebuild? We don't know, and they won't tell us. But okay, let's see what else. It says, is the Warriors prioritizing future flexibility over winning right now? I think that's obvious. You know, the same old uh, repetition of what I've been saying is that we lost out on Giannis. I think we had the packages to get Giannis, but that I'll never know because I don't know if Giannis necessarily wanted to be here. I think the whole thing was, with Giannis, like everybody freaked out because of that one live stream he had like 3 or 4 years ago where he said, "Yeah, maybe I play for the Warriors." So who knows? But I don't know if that was definitely an option, even though it seemed like it. I think sometimes media like makes a team an option, like they make the Warriors all the time an option, just because we have the most draft capital. But that doesn't mean that our front office wants to give that up, and most of the time they don't. I mean, it's just been persistent, and we don't want to give up assets. We don't want to give anything, and then we hold on to assets too long, and then we give them up, and we don't get nothing for them. I mean, but anyway, yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I mean, and then you want to go um, into first. We'll go into the Jalen Brown. You know, we had that trade in our hands, and we didn't want to give like I think at least 3 first round picks. Except for this year, we suck at drafting, at least in the last 5 years. Why not just say, screw it? We haven't had a good track record of this. We got Yaxel. Let's give like additional 4 first rounds. Screw it. And Jalen could have been a really good, um, sidekick to Steph. And even um, look what he did without Tatum this year. He could also lead the team if Steph just needs to take some time off, take like a week off, and just kind of re energize. So I think that was the real big screw up by us. The one big fish that really looked like we could possibly get him, and that would benefit that if Steph goes out, he could still lead our team, and we blew it. That's we blew it. But and then you go to the biggest fish of them all, LeBron James, and I don't know who's telling the truth in all this crap, but um, we could have signed him. I mean, I think we could have got him. I just think we were very reluctant, and then at the end when it didn't look like we were gonna get him, oh, we've been pessimistic about it at all times. Like we didn't really think we had a shot. It's like, come on, man. You got Steph Curry. You got your boy Draymond. You got Steve Kerr as the coach, and you couldn't like at least get to the playoffs. Like, and then he goes to the Sixers. You really think that they're gonna do something? Too many egos for one floor. But anyway, um, so the Warriors missed out on all that, and those were three, right? Three main guys that could have made a difference if you really wanted to extend the Steph years and Steph legacy. But the proof is in the actions because to me, a lot of the crap that the Warriors front office says, like, I just don't believe. Like Mike Dunleavy Jr., like I supported him in the beginning, but now it's just kind of ever since that Draymond lie where he acted like he wasn't going to trade Draymond. I don't believe this guy anymore. Like, and then they're asking him about LeBron, and he's like, "Well, we got things in the works." Really? What was that? Oh, we're gonna re-sign Gary Payton the second. I don't know. I am very frustrated, and yeah, I basically the front office is telling us that this is a gap year. I mean, they're not telling us; they're showing us by their actions. So, unfortunately, I don't like to just project that, but that's kind of like where we're at. Like, because we're not going to add anything else. It's good that we got size and Porzingis. Horford probably have him for like at least 50 games. Um, who else? Guy Santos is improving. Gotta see what's up with Podemski. Are we gonna re-sign him now or extend him? I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't think he's got enough. He hasn't solidified himself enough, but Steve Kerr loves him, so maybe they'll just extend him for a year, two, till Steve Kerr's gone. But we got a lot of young guys that are really trying out there. But like I've been saying, and this ain't a knock, it's just where we're at is right now the Golden State Warriors have a JV team. And that's point blank and simple. But yeah, it's tough right now. Um, there is a difference between patience and wasting a season. That's exactly where I think we're at. I think they want to act like, oh, we're just being patient. It's like, dude, you guys are notoriously over patient. Like, let's get real. You guys could have got PG 13, but you didn't want to trade Kaminga. Like, you didn't want to add um, Podemski in there. Even I don't know if it was the same year, but even for marketing, you didn't want to do that for the same guys. And now one of them is hoping for an extension, and the other one is a free agent waiting to get signed somewhere where he's going to get screwed on his money anyway. We just we we tried to be patient, but we ended up putting ourselves in the position that this year is probably going to be wasted. The only hope I have for this season is Steph Curry's healthy and does what he does, and Yaxel is a factor. And then hopefully, well, these are a couple hopes, but Steph healthy, Yaxel is a factor, and maybe Jimmy Butler like comes back a little bit earlier, and we're in prime shape for the playoffs. That would be great. I think that's the one big flux with the Warriors fans. It's like we're just looking at it like, oh, we got Steph and Dre. Hope Yaxel does something, and we're forgetting that we have Jimmy Butler. So Hopefully he comes back after All-Star break. I think that's around the time. Um, and I'd be fine with that. That'd be a huge boost because when we traded for Jimmy Butler, like Steph was looking old as dirt, and then the trade went through. Steph got a haircut, and then he was like revitalized, looking like he was 13 again. And I think that's what Jimmy does for Steph. So we'll see, man. It's I don't want to say this season's a gap season, even though I've been saying it, but it's not far off. Okay. How many legitimate championship runs does Steph have left? I mean, being generous, I gotta say one, and I think that will be not this season, but next season. Um, Based on what the front office does. Um, just this last year with Steph, it was defeating as just a Steph supporter, a Golden State Warriors fan. It was just like, man, the way he is playing, as far as his runner's knee, really just lets you see that man, he's getting older now. Like it might not be the complete end, but he is getting older, and it's like, man, just I think he's got one left in him. I really think he's gonna get that fifth. I really think he's always gonna be higher in championships than LeBron, because that's why LeBron went to the Sixers. He would not come to Golden State because he just wants one more than Steph. Because a lot of people think Steph is rated higher than him in the greatest of all time list. I'm one of them. It's just plain and simple. Not to get into that because I feel like I get into that all the time, but there's no way LeBron was gonna help Steph get a fifth just so he could have a fifth too. He wants a fifth. He wants Steph to be at the fourth. So um, I think Steph got one more in him. Um, I think it's possible. There's no guarantees, but I think it's possible. I think all the guys will re-sign at the end of the season if Steph doesn't extend. Like at least they'll sign for like a one and done season, and I think that next year will be the real like, oh man, like okay, these guys might actually have something still. So because this year I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I really don't. Does Steph deserve a more aggressive front office? I believe so. As me and the other Warriors fans, we're thinking that hey, we got draft capital and we can get one of these big kahunas, man. And we just sat there and smiled like, no, we'll pass. Draymond won't let us get anybody else, except if it's his best friend LeBron. So, yeah, he deserves an aggressive front office, you know, to go out and get someone to put him in contention. Like, I think they did that with Jimmy Butler. That was good. Well, come on, man. Like, at least get pieces around him. And this is one guy that deserves it because he's not always going, yeah, you don't get me a huge, incredible roster. I'm requesting a trade. He's not, you know who I'm going to say. So I think he's owed it, but I don't, I think it's already done. I think he knows what he has in this front office. He's probably just going to end his career out here. Because yeah, like I said before, I can't see him just jumping ship. Like I think that's one thing he loves about his career that's like untouchable for a lot of players. I don't know what superstar has stayed with one team since Kobe. I just I don't know. I don't know. And it's kind of weird. This is about the Warriors, but it's kind of weird to think about like, what if SGA like goes somewhere? He's just sick of OKC and I want to play with veterans. I'm sick of playing with these young guys we keep drafting. It's just like stuff like that. Like, what if Wemby wants to leave San Antonio one day? You can't see it, but whoever thought Giannis would leave Milwaukee? So yeah, he deserves a tougher front office, definitely. Nothing like water. Okay. Could fans start checking out of the Golden State Warriors? I mean, honestly, last year, no Steph, just Draymond bitching on the court. Our stars were like Podemski and Guy Santos. Um, and like dudes like Crier, which honestly I'm still getting familiar with. I think we got some guy Williams from Houston, and it was just like, who are these guys? It's I checked out last year. That's why like last year I checked out because I felt like we were watching a JV team. And it was okay because it's like you figure in the off season they're gonna make a big splash. They're gonna have a support system around Steph and Dre and nothing. But I don't know. I wonder. Like I'm a diehard Warriors fan, sports fan, and I just wonder other like the Warriors fans that were born and like mysteriously showed up, in the 2010s when we started getting relevant. I think those guys might trail off, and I can't stand those. Mm. I always go into it. I'm an old head, man. The struggle of watching Tony Delk, Bimbo Cole, Jason Caffey, Chris Gatling, uh, like Eric Dampier, like those fans do not know what we had to go through and why the at least the first championship feeling was like I just dropped to the ground. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, yeah, I think those fair weather fans that just came around the first championship, I think those guys will be gone. But you know the main Warriors fans that have been through the struggle, we're lifers, and now it's fun. We experience the rise and the mountaintop, and now it's like, how are we gonna get back there? That's what I want to see. I want to see if Mike Dunleavy could really, if he could. I meant to say Junior. If Mike Dunleavy Jr. could really do this, can he? Or is Joe Lacob like holding his collar and going, "Nah, I don't like that move. No, no, don't do it." I want to see if it happens. But as far as fans, I think half of them that are fair weather, they will probably check out, go back to being Lakers fans, and Sacramento Kings fans, and they'll be back when we, start making the playoffs again. Because believe it or not, play in is not playoffs. Whatever. It's kind of a double header one. Which players can establish themselves as legitimate long term pieces, and development can't just mean giving young players minutes. Um, the players that I feel like that can, really just boost themselves this year. I said it already. Is Yaxel Lendenborg, man. Um, I feel like I haven't felt like this in a while, and I said I already said this, but I feel like he's a real immediate impact guy, and he's the guy we got to give him just start him like Steve Kerr already alluded to in this offseason, which I like that he's not hiding from that, and we need to start him, give him massive minutes, you know, even give him massive minutes, maybe sub out Draymond, put him at the four. Um, and so, Draymond could rest up, and then second quarter starts. Yaxel could rest, and then Draymond will be back in. So, um, I want him to be a big piece, and I think that he will prove himself this year to be a long term piece. That's the only one I could really see because all our other guys, Moody's injured, um, Podemski. I I think I'm kind of determined on what he is, an inconsistent, guy. Maybe the new haircut will help him out. I mean, but how many seasons do we really give him? What is this? He's going into his fourth season. So I think Yaxel Lendenborg is the main one right now. Yeah, and then as far as development, can't just be giving players minutes. I mean, that's all we have right now to give is minutes. Just good practices, experience. That's it. And um, I think that Steve Kerr will be a good influence on him, and um, yeah, I just I think that's all we have to give is really minutes. So um, I think Yaxel should soak up the minutes, and I think he will progress and do really good for the Warriors this season. And going back to another player that could be a long term piece that I think could prove himself this year is Will Richard. Um, I know after Kerr yelled at him and he was wrong last year that he kind of just went under the radar, but he had a good summer league with Yaxel. I feel like they could be some kind of like duo, and I think this is a good couple pieces, especially since last year Yaxel won the national championship, and the year before Will Richard was on Florida that won the national championship. So they're winners. So I, as an extra added guy, I think Will Richard will be someone that will suck up minutes this year, and he will prove himself as a possible long term piece. And this is probably the big question to probably um, end it out here. Okay, would you rather Golden State go all in and risk the future, or accept a gap year to build one more serious run around Steph? I think I want to answer both of those because it's like I would rather us go all in while like Steph is not a year older, you know, and it's like Draymond gonna be here next year. Like, cause you gotta realize, Draymond is a four-time champion too, and you're sacrificing him as well. So, um, I would rather us like go all in, but we obviously didn't do that. So we gotta be over that. And the second part is, will you accept a gap year to build one more serious run? If that's what they're actually doing, then I'm okay with that. I mean, you got to be okay with it. But the front office doesn't let us in. I would hope at the start of training camp, they're going to say, hey, this is a year of growth. This is a gap. And we're going to try to maximize 1 year run for Steph. And if they actually come out and say that and that's their thought process, then I'm okay with it. But right now, just, it might be a gap year. And, you know, we're just trying to grow this year. It's like Steph and Dre are growing old. like, so I just, it, everything the Warriors are doing sounds smart if they didn't have Steph and Dre on the team. But I don't know. It's looking like a gap year. But what do you guys think? Are you happy that maybe it's a gap year that you could experience growth with the Warriors? Or are you still on that hangover of we did not do anything in this offseason? No new acquisitions, no trades, no signings besides re-signings. Are you still frustrated with that? Make sure you leave comments with your thoughts on that. And make sure you smash the like button. Always helps the channel. Always appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Till next time, this has been the Authentic Take. I'm out.